All right, looks like we still got a couple more people getting in here, but we'll go ahead and get started. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alex Garcia. I'm a software support specialist over here at Distributor Central. Today's webinar is going to be going over company stores. All the things that associate with company stores, your website, the products that you want to build and put on your website. This will also be beneficial to anybody that's looking to get into custom products in general. So even if it's not for a company store, like say maybe you have your own items that you want to put on your website along with the promotional products that the suppliers provide, but you have your own you want to add in there too, this will help you out too. So what we'll do is we'll start off and we'll start talking about how to get started on the company store, and also make sure that you get started with how to get started on the custom products. Feel free to ask questions along the way, and I'll save some time. We'll answer those as we go along in the chat. Send them in the chat. And I'll save some time at the end, about 5 to 10 minutes, to answer any questions that didn't get answered. And if we don't get to all of them, we will get back to you with the email and get those questions answered for you. So basically, in order to get started, first you need to know what is a custom product. So a custom product consists of either copying a product over from the supplier, or if you have a product that is not, if the product's not in our database, you can create it from scratch and make it orderable on your website or your company store. So there's two ways to do it, as I said, copying and creating it from scratch. So we'll show you both examples. But in order to get started, you first have to get a fulfillment account going, which is a sub account within your main account, which you'll see here in a second. So once you log into your Distributor Central account, if you come over here to the Account tab and go to Child Accounts, here you'll see all the current child accounts you have. And one thing to think about when it comes to company stores is when you create the store, do you want different shipping? Do you want different payment methods than you have on your main account? Also, what do you want to show up on the invoices? So for instance, I have DC Webinar Demo as my company name, so that would be your company name. I could create the company store website under my main account, but it's going to carry over this name. It'll have its own URL and everything like that, but on the invoice, it's going to show my actual main company name. So it kind of depends on how you want to have it set up. Some people set up company stores where they set it up for the corporation, and then the corporation has their employees order off of it, so they want the corporation name to be up here. So that in that case, you'll want to set up a child account, distributor child account. That way you can have its own separate account. And then there's other ones that are just doing direct business. Like for instance, if you had like a local Starbucks and you were providing swag or promotional type items for them, you could just create it under your main account because it doesn't need to say Starbucks up here. It's just going to be yours. So determining whether or not if you need to create a child account for your company store, like I said, a couple things to think about would be the name on the invoice. Do you want it different than your main account? Your payment method. So whatever payment method you select on your main account will apply to all your websites, including if you have your company store there. So if it's totally different, you'll want to create a child account on that. And you can see right here that like these ones that I've created, so the two types that we talked about, the distributor and the fulfillment account. The fulfillment account is going to be where you house all your custom products that we're talking about. So you can have, like, let's say you wanted something different than what your main account. So you could create a child account, and I'll show you here the different ways to create those accounts. But once you create the account, then you would just log in and create your website under that account instead of creating it under your main account. All else fails, if you decide you need to change it, you can always create a child account, and then we can move the website over to that child account for you. It won't affect your fulfillment account at all. So once you come here, like I said, account, child accounts, and then you come over here to add new child account, you're just going to fill out this information. Now, if you're doing one for, like I said, a child account, distributor account, which it defaults to, you want to make sure you can put in all your customers' information here that's associated with that, so whoever's store it's for. But as far as the email goes, you'd want to put your email there. Otherwise, they would have access to log in to look at the stuff on the back end. So you can have all their information here and then just put your email address there so you get the login information and not them. When you're setting up your fulfillment account, you're going to come over here to the company type when you're filling it out. So you need a fulfillment account in order to have custom products. So you'll change the company type to fulfillment. If it's not there, it'll just say distributor and this won't be there. Contact us and we can unlock your account and then you'll see both of them here. Now, when you create a fulfillment account, you only want one fulfillment account. So I already have one, so I'm not going to create another one. So I'll go back here because what you're going to do is, let's say these were 3 different stores. So DC, DC2, DC3. When I create all my products, they're going to be under one fulfillment account, and then I'm going to create product lists for each store. So I'd have one for DC, I'd have a product list for DC2, and I'd have a product list for DC3, and they would all go accordingly to the store. So not all, if I create all my products under one fulfillment account, they're not all going to show up on every additional child account that I create here. I'll create product lists, and you'll see that here in a little bit, that'll be assigned to these specific accounts. Once you have your fulfillment account created, just come over here, and once again, account, child accounts, come over to the fulfillment account and click login. Now here you'll see, this is what I was talking about, where you have all your custom products, either products that you copy over from the supplier, which I'm going to show you here in a second. When you copy the product over from the supplier, you get to pick which information you want to copy over. Then you can go in and change the quantity. You can change the pricing. You can change the options. You can change the images. However you want to customize it. You can pull in the basic information so you don't have to set it up from scratch, or you have the option to set it up from scratch. So when we come over here, first thing we're going to do is we're going to do the option to copy from the supplier. So we're going to come over here to the products tab. We're going to come down to advanced features, and then we're going to go to copy supplier products right here. And you'll see here that it asks for the supplier account and it asks for the item number. So you'll need to know who the supplier is and the item number. So in this case, if you pull up the list, they're all alphabetized, but you can start typing in. So for my one, I'm going to do one for Diamondback. So if I come in here, Diamondback branding, then I have to know the actual item number. So I'm going to do RTIC, which is basically a tumbler. And then over here, you have the option for the data to copy. So this one, when you're creating custom products, first you want to make sure and create it as simple as possible. You don't need all the information. Normally, you won't have all the information that the suppliers have when they have the products listed for you to see as a distributor, because you're just simplifying it and you're just making it easier for your customer to order, so they don't need artwork and all that stuff that your customers would normally see when they're ordering from your website. This is more geared towards one particular type of company. They have certain items, so usually with the company store, you'll see anywhere from about 20 items or less. You can have more than 20 items. Right around 20 items is a sweet spot, pretty easy to maintain and change and update if need be. Anything over that can, you can do as much as you want, but we recommend right around 20 items. But it's up to you, however you want to do that, depending on your client. So as I mentioned, keeping it simple, I'm going to go data to copy. I'm going to do the pricing, just as an example. I'll do the images, but I don't want to do the options, the choice. I don't want to do any of this other stuff. I just want to keep it as simple as possible. So I'm going to click submit. And now that has now copied over into my fulfillment account. So if I go to view edit product, you can see it's been created. So now I have this in my fulfillment account. It's not anywhere on my websites yet, as I don't have it in a product list, and we'll show you that once I get these other products built too, kind of show you how to go in there and do that. But you can see all the information is already filled in. I don't have to do anything. I can add my own information. I can change whatever I want to change about it, the item number. I could look at the images here, and I could change the images. So if I didn't want certain colors, I could take out the colors and just have certain colors available. So just showing you as a basic example here. So, and you can add options in later, like if you did engraving, That's why I didn't copy the options. Maybe I'm an engraver, so I have an option for engraving that I can provide to them if they want. So that's another option you can add. So if I go back to the home page here, you can access your products a couple ways. You can either do product list, or you can come down here to products, add edit products. Either one is going to take you to the list. So you can see right now I only have one product in there. So the next way we're going to do, that's copying it over from the supplier. That's the easiest way to do. So if it's in the database, copy it over. It takes a lot of the hassle out of you having to enter in all the information. It's ready to go, and then you can go in and change what you want to change about it. The next one is that we talked about was copying or creating a product from scratch. So let's say it's not in our database and you still want to make it orderable on your website. Custom products consist of three main areas, as you can see here. So you have products, options, and choices. So to give you an example, let's say we were talking about like a shirt. So the choices would be the colors, like red, white, blue, the sizes, small, medium, large. The option would be just the color and the sizes in general. So it would say product color, product size. Those would be the options. And so what happens is you attach the choices to the option. So it would say product color, then the choices would get attached to it, red, white, and blue, or product size, small, medium, large. And then you take the option and you attach it to the product. So if you go over here, we'll just edit this one real quick that we copied over. And if you look at the options here, this is where you're going to pull in your options and move them over. So if I had product color, product size, I'll move them over, and you'll see that here in a second when we actually create them. But just wanted to kind of give you guys the basics so you can see that the main thing, three main parts of a product is the product level, the options, and the choices. I recommend starting out on the choices because and kind of work your way back. The product is easy because that's just the information. That's the name. What do you want to name the product? The item number, the description. The choices is where you're going to get more into, like, you got to list all the colors. You want to make sure you have all the sizes. So you can do it any way you want, but like I said, the less information you can provide, the easier it is going to be for you to not only update, but manage. So it's up to you how you want to set them up. And I'll show you here real quick. So let's say we're going to do a polo. So I'll go back here to, and you can always see this little menu here that you can return back. I'll just click add edit products. And now since I'm creating one from scratch, I'm going to click add new product. So what I'll do is I can add the new product now, or I can start adding my choices. It's up to you, however you want to do it, whatever is more easier for you to do. So we'll just add the product first, and then we'll go choices, options, and we'll come back to the product. So if I click add new product, I'm going to name the product. So I can name it whatever I want, and I'll just do polo. And then you come up with the item number. We'll do PS. Style number. So when you're creating your products from scratch, the easiest way to set it up, that way you don't have to go into a lot of options, a lot of choices, and have, you can just have it all on one page, would be to use the style function. So the style function with the products is going to usually be just colors. So in this one, I'm going to do like black, blue, and white are going to be my colors that I do. So I'll start off with black. I'll enter the description. You can put whatever you want here. And you can see now that the only thing that's missing right now for it to be displaying is an image. So once I add the image to it, then I will be able to move it over into a product list and it can display on my website. I recommend doing, make sure you do pricing, because if you don't have the pricing, it's going to say contact for more, request for more information, so they won't be able to order. They'd have to contact you. So if that's what you want, you can do that. But I like to have the pricing on there, and then I like to add a category too. If you want to do the production time, you can do that, and I'll show you where those parts are as we go through this here. So I have polo shirt here, and now I go on, just going to go down the tabs here of the ones. So go to the additional information, and I'll come down here. If I want to add the sizes, I can do, let's see, we'll do extra small through 4XL, or we'll do 3XL, I won't go that high. And just put a note in there, additional charge for sizes 2X plus. So that'll show up on the product. Then I can come down here, I can add a production time that we talked about. So 14 days. If I want to do that, you don't have to have the production time. And then additional information, I can just do something simple as colors, black, blue, and white. Click save. So we're just basically building up the product right now. Then I'm going to come over to images, select file. So with the images, you can see here that the file has to be 750 on its longest side. So I'm going to go to wherever I have them on my desktop, and I'm going to grab the black polo, click open. And you can see now that's added. When you're setting it up, you can add additional product views if you want, but the way setting it up through the style, these colors will, the color will automatically pull up. And you'll see here once we get it created, kind of how it looks. And it's really neat how it's all set up, because it'll have little tabs they can click on. Oh, I want black, I want blue, I want white. And so normally you'll just load just the color of the one that you're currently working on. So we'll go pricing. We're just making our way down the list here. You don't have to really worry about the margin. This is more for like the supplier side. So you just leave it at A is fine, and then put your retail price in there. So we'll say $20 as an example. Make sure you check the box to display to your customers so they can see it, and then click save. And so now we're on to the options. So options, we have the colors that we're going to use for the style, so we need sizes. We don't have any sizes in there. So this is where we're going to jump over to choices. That's why I said if you want to start with choices and you know all the products you want to do up front, you can just create your choices, and then from there you can go and add those to create an option for it and then add it to the product. So this way I'll show you starting the product off first, get to the options, go to choices, go to options, and then bring it back. The next product, I'll start from the choices and we'll work our way back. So whatever's more comfortable to you, but you're going to get to the same goal either way. So right now we don't have any options available at all in our fulfillment account. So I need to get sizes on there. So how do I get sizes on there? So as we talked about, now we'll just go back to, if you're on the home page, or you can go back to main info or click on any of these here, and you'll see the three options, the three main focus points on the product, and I'm going to click edit choices. So now I'm going to start creating some choices. So I'm going to add new choice. And when you're creating these choice, where it says option type, this has to match with the option type in order for it to show up. So the first one I'm going to do is sizes. So I'm going to come down here to product sizes. So when I set up the option, which you'll see here in a second, that option type that I'll use for the option will be product sizes too. So it knows to look for that in the choices. So I'm going to keep it simple, just S for small, S, and then click save. And one of the beauty things that we have built into the system with the product, the options, the choices, and you'll see that here in a second, is once you create that base, and like for instance, when I'm doing the one right now for on the product level for the black polo, once I get that base created and I create the choices, I add them to the options and the options to the product, and I have the base created and I'm ready to go, all I have to do is click add similar and just change the color on the style and change the image, which you'll see here in a second, and I don't have to re-enter in everything. Same thing with the sizes. So if I just do small, I can come in here, click add similar, then I don't have to change the option type again. Just change that to medium. So basically what I'm doing right now is creating my sizes. And I'm going to add another similar choice. And we'll go large. And then we'll do an extra large. And then now we're getting into the bigger sizes. So as you remember when I was setting up the product, 2XL plus, which I think we're going to go to 3 on this one, is more money. So let's say 2XL is additional 2, 3XL is additional 4. So now we need to add an additional charge to that. So what we'll do is we'll do add similar, and we'll do 2XL. We'll click save, and we'll come over here to pricing. So similar, the breakdown, they have additional information that you can add just like you could on the product. So there's a couple of them here. And I'm just going to do $1, $2, and I'm going to change this to extra. Check it to make sure that it's displayed to the customers. Hit save, and then I can do add similar choice and do 3XL. Hit save, and then I'm going to change the pricing again. Change this to 4. Hit save. And now if I go back to choices, you can see all the choices that I've created so far. So I have all my sizes here ready to go. And then if I want to return to product, I can go back to product, and I see here that I have my Polo. PS is the item number. So another thing you can do is if you're on your choices, and let's say you have a lot of apparel type of items that you're going to be using, and all the larger sizes don't have the exact same upcharge to them. So what you can do is, if we'll go back to this 2XL here, you can enter in a style number. So style number, what I usually do is I'll do the item number so it sticks out. So I'll just do that. PS is what I named it. And I can go back to choices, and I can do the same for the 3XL and hit save, and then back to choices. You don't have to do it for any of the small, medium, large, or extra large, because those are just going to pull in the automatic price of the product no matter what it is. But these additional ones, I did that on the style name, these additional ones are going to have, if they have different pricing for the larger sizes in apparel, like if you have multiple apparel items and they have different upcharges for the larger sizes, then you can identify them by the item number is what I usually do with the style number. And you'll see that when we go in to add the option. So now if I go back and look at the choices, you can see I have them all here, and I have 2 style numbers for the larger sizes. Because when I'm looking through my options, which you'll see here in a second, and I'm looking at the choices to move over, if I just left it at 2XL, 3XL, it would show 2XL, 3XL, and there would be no way to distinguish it from one apparel item to the next if the pricing's different. If it's all the same, you don't need to put the style number in there on the choice. You can just leave it the way it is, so it would just be the 2XL and the 3XL without the style number there. So now I have the choices created, which the colors are also a choice, as we mentioned, but I'm using a style on the product for that, so I don't need to create colors here for the choices. So now I'm going to go to edit options. So just making my way with the 3 main parts of the product, and click add new option. And as you can see, it's really similar to the choice when we were setting up the choices. So the option type, once again, you want to make sure to make that match with your choices that you're trying to bring in. And this one is just going to be called product size. And I'll just do PS for product size. Click save. You don't have to add a description or anything. You can keep your options as simple as possible. You can add images if you want to. I'm just going to keep it simple because I have the images on the product level. So images here for the option would be like if you want to add a sizing chart or something like that. But you could even add that to the additional images on the product, however you want to do it. So I'm going to come over here to pricing. I'm sorry, choices. We don't need to do anything with the pricing. And you can see right here that these are all those choices that I created. And as I mentioned earlier, so let's say I had another set of apparel items that had the 2XL and 3XL, but they had a different upcharge. If I didn't have that PS there, it would just say 2XL, 2XL twice. And so you wouldn't know which one's what. So that helps you distinguish to let you know these are the upcharges for that item number PS
that we created.
So now all you need to do is move them over. So if you click at the top, you can do click shift, hold it. You can move them over all at once, click save. And then we're going to go over to the ordering, finish up. So it's automatically going to pick based off of, it'll say select the, and then whatever you chose for the name, it'll automatically fill that in for you. Changes to required. So they'll have to enter in something in order to move on from it. And then the next thing you'll notice down here is that they're all out of order. So what you can do is you can put them in order. So I can move that to the top, move that up, get them all in order there. Click save. And now I'm ready to go. So I have the product size ready to go. I have created the choice. I attached the choices to the option. Now I just need to attach the option to the product. So if I go back to edit products and we go to our one that we have here, click edit, and we left off on options. You can see now that that option is available for me to move over. So I'll move it over, I'll click save, and then I'll come over to the next one, the categories. And that'd be the last one that you really have to worry about. You don't have to worry about any of these other ones. That's more on the supplier side. And so pick a category that you want to do. So I'll do polo knit. You can do as many categories as you want. I'd recommend doing at least one. And then we'll click save. And so now that product, if I go back to the main info, is created and ready to go. So as I mentioned earlier, I want to do blue and white too. So as we talked about with the choices, and you saw when we were doing the different choices for the sizes, you can just come in here and you can do the same thing. So you have an add similar button. So all I'm going to do is click add similar, change the color, click save, and then I already have all the options and everything created on the first product. So it copied everything over. All I need to do is change the style number, go to the image, and change this to the red, or sorry, blue. So swap the black out for the blue. Good to go there. So now I have black and blue created, and you'll see that here if I go back to add edit products. So as you can see, I created that other, it created the second product literally less than 20 seconds. And then I come back in and I'll do it again. Just click add similar, and I'll change it to white. Click save. And then we'll go to the images, change this to white. Good to go there. And now if I go back and look at the products, I have all my products created. So as you can see, when you create that base product, whether it be an option, if you're going to have similar choices, you can use that add similar function, and it'll save you a lot of time where you don't have to go back in and create it again and worry about, oh, what did I choose for the category? What did I do for this? I want to make sure they match up correctly. That add similar is going to copy in everything. So if I did the add similar here on the black and I went to the blue and I changed the style number and I didn't change the image, the style number will be different, which you have to make them all unique. And that's where the style number comes in. So I couldn't have the exact same product PS black twice here. It wouldn't let me create it. It'll say it has to be unique. So when you add that blue, it makes it unique. And then if I didn't change the image, it would pull in the black image. So you got to make sure and go in and change the image too. That way you can get that updated. So next we're going to another way, like I was talking about, you can do it through the style. You can also do it through options for the colors. Definitely recommend using the style for the apparel. It even works with the other, the hard goods too, the hard items. You can do it that way too, or you can pull it in as an option, and I'll show you that here. So now we're going to go and create like a stress ball. And we'll start with the choices. So we need the colors. So you can do it through the style, which is the way I recommend doing it. But if you want to do it the other way, you can do it that way too. And we'll show you how to do that here. That way you can get an idea of how it looks when you add additional images, all that good stuff. So what you can do now is I'll come over to the choices and I need to create my colors. So I'm going to click add new choice. I'm going to change the option type again, just like we did before, but this time instead of using product sizes, I'm going to go with product color. So you can see it says product color information there. And we'll just start with the black. Click save. And you can add images to these too if you wanted to, but we'll just keep it simple. And then I'm going to click add similar choice. Actually, I'll go ahead and add it in there so you can kind of see an example, just different examples that you can see. So let me go back in there real quick. So image, it's going to say the same thing, 750 longest side. So I'm going to grab the black one here. And then I'm going to add similar choice, or you can do it from scratch if you wanted to. This just kind of saves you a little bit of time. We'll go blue. And another thing to remember is, and I'll show you here in a second, that if I tried to make another blue like this with the supplier choice number and the name, it'll tell me I can't, and that's where the style number comes in handy. That I recommend putting in the actual item number. That way it'll stick out and you know what to move over. Because that'll come in handy once you start doing a lot of products and you have a lot of options and a lot of choices to see. If you use that style function, it'll help you distinguish that way you know what choice goes with what product. So I'll click save there. I'll go to images, change this one to the blue, and then I'll click add similar choice, and we'll finish up with the white. And we'll go to add images, changing it to white. Make sure you change the color of the image. If you're not doing the image, then you don't have to come in here and change because it's just there won't be anything there. Another thing you can do, I'll show you on this here real quick, is if you don't want to do an image, but you want to do like a swatch, you can come to additional info and you can enter in the HTML or hex code here, or you can pull up the color spectrum and just pick one of these. If you have the HTML or hex code, you can put it in right there. And instead of the image, it'll just be like a little square swatch color that they can look at. So now I have all my colors of the stress ball that I want. So we're working backwards on this one. So I need to create option for it. So now I'm going to go edit options, add new option. Remember to make sure the option types match. So product color information, because you'll see here, this will be a good example too, because I have previously created choices under product size as the option. And you'll see when I get to the choice part within the option, those sizes won't show up. The only way they would show up is if I had it matching here. So product color, and we'll just call it PC. So normally what I do, since we're only doing one, I'm not putting the item number in, but normally what I will do is I will put the item number first and then do like PC or abbreviate or however you want to do it to make it stand out. But since we're only doing one as an example, I'm not doing that right now, but that's what I would recommend doing, is putting the item number first and then like dash PC for product color, or however you want to color. I mean, you can name it whatever you want, but however you want it to stand out when you're looking at it in the product level, trying to grab the options. And you'll see that here in a second. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to come over to choices, and then you can see those are my only colors, and none of the sizes are showing up because this is a product color. Move those over, go to ordering, make it required. I'm going to leave this one at choice checkbox. So that just means they have to check a box. So it's either black, blue, or white. If you want them to be able to select multiple, then you can do choice checkbox, each one quantity. So you can change that that option, the display form field option. So I'm just going to leave it at choice checkbox so you can see an example of that. And I'll click save. So now for the stress ball, I have the choices created, I have the option created, but I don't have the product created yet. So now I'm going to go to edit products, add new product, and go through the same thing. And we'll say SB. I don't need a style number because I'm not doing the color for styles on this one as an example. And you can change this to whatever you want. I'm just going to keep it simple. So on the main product description, you can, put in whatever you want to describe the product. Just put in something so they know what it is. Then we'll go through it again, additional info. So if you had the size of the stress ball, you could put the product size in there. And I'll just add the colors again. Black, blue, white. We'll do production time. Like I said, you don't have to do production time, but you can if you want. We'll do images. And this one I'm going to pick which one I want displayed as the main. So I'll just do the black one. And then when we were talking about earlier with the additional product views, I'll do the other colors. So the blue and the white. Now those are added, and I'll do pricing. And we'll say that these are $1 a piece. Check it, make sure to display to customer. Hit save. Then we'll move on to options. See, these are going to pull in all the options that you have available on your fulfillment account. So as I mentioned, with putting the item number in there, it'll stick out. Or if you put the item number after it, you'll want to get it organized. So you'll just want to follow a way that you like, that looking at this list, if I'm looking for product color, I can go to one section and I know that it's going to say PC and then the item number, or the item number is going to be first. And just an easy way for you to find it in this list, because once you get a lot of products in here, this list is going to get longer, and just trying to make it easier on yourself. So I'm going to move over the product color, and then I'm going to do the category, and we'll look for stress ball. We'll do stress toys. Click save, and then we'll go back to our product list. So now you can kind of get an idea. With the apparel item, we set it up with the style number, which means that when we create this here, and you'll see it when we put it into an actual product list, which is the last step, we have the different colors here as a product itself, which will put it under a style. So you'll see the difference between that as opposed to the stress ball. When you go to order that, there's a main image, and then when you go to the options, it'll have the colors to choose from. So you can pick whichever one works best for you. Definitely recommend doing the style for the apparel. And like I said, it would work too for the non-apparel items, the hard goods. So I could have done the same thing with the stress ball. This would have been style number black, and then blue and white, and I wouldn't have had to have add the colors as choices because they would already be here as the style number. So whichever one works best for you. So the next thing and the final step, we have the products created, they're displaying. How do we get them over to our company store or our website in general? So what you need to do is you need to create a product list. So if you come over here to the products tab, go to advanced features, come down here to product list manager. This is going to pull all your product lists from your main account. If you're on your child account, like I said earlier, if you have it separate from your main account, any product list you've created in your main account, and these would just be like normal lists, pulling in the default information from the supplier, and you've pulled in certain products that you want in a list. They'll all show up here along with your custom product lists that are created from your fulfillment account. So I'm going to click add new list, and we'll just call it something simple, company store. Click save. So now I have my list created, and I need to start adding products. So I'm going to click edit products. I'm going to move over the tumbler, the stress ball, and then when you do the style number, you want to just move over one, whichever one you want to be your main display, you want to move that one over. So for the stress ball, I did the black, so we'll keep with the black theme. So I'm going to move that one over. If I move these other two over, then when they go to look at the product, like search for the product, all three of them will show up. If you only put one in there, then what it's going to do, it's going to have it all under one product, and you'll see here in a second that it'll have the different styles they can choose from. So I'm going to click save, and then all I need to do is add another list, and we'll just call it styles. So these are going to be the ones that aren't the main image. And you can use this for, you don't have to create a style one every time, just anytime you're using the style number for the color, just put all the non-main images that you want, all the that you don't want to show up as the main image in here in the styles. So I'm going to click edit product. So I have the black as my main, so I'm just going to move over the blue and the white, because in order for them to display on a website, they have to be in some kind of product list. So I have my company store that has all my products in there, and you can see 3. And then I have my styles that has the additional styles for the polo shirt, so it can be visible on a store. So now what I'm going to do, now I've created the product, I added it to the list, I just need to add it to my website. So if I come up here to my initials, click on it, go to switch accounts, you're going to go to the account where your website is located. So in this case, I just have it under my main account. If you had a child account, because you wanted to do it separate, you could do account, child accounts, and if it was under this one right here, I would just click log in, and then I would go to the website and add the product collection with the filter of that list I just built. But it's under my main account, so I don't need to do that. So I'm on my main account, I'm going to go to websites, hosting manager. I'm going to go to my DC store here that I created, manage. And so now you can see right now there's no products on that entire store. So I need to start adding some collections. So I'm going to click manage, and this is the same thing. So at this point, from here on out, is the same thing you do with normal everyday websites that are pulling in the default information that the suppliers have provided. So the quantity breakdowns, the pricing, and stuff like that. You're just going to create a collection, add it to your website, and then those products will be visible on the website. So I'm just going to add a product collection. I can name it whatever I want. This is how it's going to show up on your website, so you can make the name whatever you want. I'm going to add a filter. Under common, you'll see product list. I'm going to add the company store one. Click save. And then you can see now there's 3 products in that collection. And then I'm going to add the one for the styles, which will just be kind of working in the background so they can pull in, add the product list, styles, click save. And so now all I need to do is publish it, publish all changes, and then I'm good to go. So once I've done this, and, we just created 3 products. Once I've done this, any additional products I add to that company store, so if I created like 10 more products in my fulfillment account and I add them to that company store product list, I don't have to come in here and do any of this anymore. It's automatically going to update because I have the product list loading. So any additions or subtractions or edits will automatically update on your website because I have the list loaded on the website. I don't need to come in here and do this every time. So once you create one product, I recommend going in, creating a collection on your website that you're going to use, set it, and then you don't have to go back to it. You can just start focusing on your custom products, moving them over into that particular product list. The only time you'd have to come back in here and do something different is if you created a whole new brand new product list that you wanted to use on your website. You'd have to load it in. But then moving forward, if you moved or removed or add any products in and out of that list, as long as it's loaded here on the website, then you're good to go. You don't have to come back in here and do that. You can just focus on creating products in the fulfillment account. So now that I have the products created, I added them to the product list. I created the product collection, added it to my website. Now I need to get it so it's visible on my website. So I'll need to go into the website editor, which is the last step, and make sure that everything's set up there. So you can come back here in the menu here and just go to the previous one, which is going to pull up the hosting manager, and click on edit. So we're getting into the website editor. And you can see here that I chose the company store template, which I'll show you that here real quick. So if you go to Websites Hosting Manager, we've made it very simple for you guys to just create a simple template. Any of the templates will work because you can customize them any way you want, but we already have some pre-built ones for company stores. So if you go over to Websites Hosting Manager, add new website, you'll see one that's actually labeled company store. If you scroll down here, so you have the company store template, and then another one you can use as a customer presentation. So I've seen a lot of people that just want something simple, use a company store template, or they'll use the customer presentation one. They're both going to operate the same way. So it's just a matter of which one do you like the best design-wise. So once I get the website editor pulled up, now I can start editing my website if I haven't already, so I can add my logos. You can go and just same thing as before with any regular website, same properties and everything apply. You can just go in there and start editing, changing what you need to change about the website. But on this particular one, as I mentioned, we tried to make it very user-friendly. So we just have a catalog block loaded here on the homepage. There's not a lot of content, whereas the normal websites you have like carousel blocks, you have images, you have a lot of content, graphics. And like I said, you can use those and just change out the information to coincide with the store, or you can just use a simple one like this. Put your customer's logo up here, put it down here. You can change the message. And then for the catalog block, I'm just going to double click on it. And I'm going to come down here to where it says show collection select screen, no, and I'm going to change it to let me go here real quick and make sure that's updated. Yeah, it's good. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to change it to all products because that's what I named that collection. And you could name it whatever you want. Click done, hit save. And then if I ever wanted to link, so now I have that when the website pulls up, and you'll see here, we'll do a live preview. So you see here how it's under one. So I have also an option for blue, also an option for white, but it's all underneath here. And you'll see the difference between the two styles that I was talking about. And I'll show you here. Let me pull it up in incognito so we don't get kicked out real quick. And then you can see the difference between the two products. So if you're ever testing out your website, this is another good tip for you. Use incognito if you're using Chrome, or use private window for Safari, Edge, or Firefox. That way you can mess around with your website, even go through, create a customer order if you wanted to, and it won't, because when you do it on the same browser, it automatically logs you in as the admin, and as you go through the process, if you get all the way to the cart, sometimes it will kick you out. So this is the best way to do it. Or you can just do it, if I wanted to do it in Firefox, I can just pull up a different browser and take a look at my website. But anyways, so here, when you see the polo, when we set up the styles, you can see here that it says styles. So it has black, blue, white. So as I was mentioned earlier, with these, you didn't have to do the additional colors because it's going to, when you highlight over it, it's going to show you the additional colors. And then if I click next, I can pick however many I want. So I pick my quantity first. And let's say I wanted 25. Then I can come over here and I know I need to, it'll let them know you need to figure out how much you want 25. So I could do five small, 5 medium, 5 large, however many I want to do to equal 25. I could do 20 extra large and 5 large. And if it's under that, it'll pop up a thing and tell them that they need to equal 25. So that's the option there, using the the style that we talked about, and you can do that with either apparel or hard goods. The other option we set up is where you have the color that they can select from. So I'll show you an example of that. So we did that with the stress ball. So you can see here, we don't have the styles, so the styles aren't there, but the additional images, they can take a look at the colors and product options. When they look at that, they can come down here and see all the different colors. And so it's the same thing. So we'll use the same 25. If I click next, then when I added those images, they can look at the images if they want. You don't have to add those there, but then I can select my color this way. So multiple ways to set up these custom products. As you can see, either you can use the style number, which we recommend for apparel. It also works for hard goods, but you don't have to do it if you don't want to. Multiple ways you can set it up. It's just whatever way that you want to set up your company store. And like I mentioned, once it's set up and you've added those lists to your website, created those collections, you're good to go. You can just start creating products, move them over to the list, or remove products that don't belong on the list anymore. And you don't even have to touch your website in regards to making sure the products will show up or not. The only time you have to do that is if you create a new list and you need to add that list to the website. Because if you create a new list, let's say you go to your fulfillment account, you create products, you put it in a new list, it shows displaying, you've created the list. Well, you have to add it to the website in order for it to show up. It's not just automatically going to be sent to the website. But I think that's going to do it for today. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, always feel free to give us a call, 888-516-7401. You can also email us, info@distributorcentral.com. Our office hours are Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Another thing you can check out, I know that was kind of a lot of information we went over, so the recording will be going out sometime today, so you'll be getting a copy of the recording, is you can come over to our help center. So if you just type in help.distributorcentral.com and just come up here to the search and type in custom products, and you'll kind of see a breakdown of everything we talked about. So fulfillment accounts that we talked about, how to create a fulfillment account. So definitely recommend checking this out, not only for the custom products, but for anything in general to do with Distributor Central. We have guides, help guides, and short videos here that you can check out. But like I said, I'll stick around for about 5 to 10 minutes, answer any questions that we didn't get answered. And if we don't get them answered all, we'll email you guys back and answer them. Hope you guys have a great afternoon, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.